In today's Mindful Movement Monday, we've got a no to low intensity session, mostly on the mat on our backs, working on our root, sacral, solar plexus, and heart chakra centers. So when you're ready, lie all the way back, knees bent, and feet on the floor. We'll take the first couple of moments here to just connect the body to the breath. So lying still with one hand on your stomach and the other hand on your heart, begin taking deep breaths, allowing your bottom hand to rise up towards the ceiling with the inhale, and allowing that hand to float back down towards the floor, feeling your stomach deflate with the exhale. When we breathe in, draw that breath in through the back of your nose, encouraging the body to relax. And when you exhale, let the air out nice and slow, maybe 2 to 3 more seconds longer than the inhale on the exhale. And as you lay still here, notice if you can relax through your feet, knees and hips, allowing your body to be heavy on the mat with relaxed hands, elbows, and shoulders. And then notice if you can soften just a bit more through your forehead, softening through your cheekbones, and softening through your jaw. And as you take a nice deep breath in, know that you're taking this time for yourself, for your self-care, and allowing the body to energize from the inside out. On the next inhaling breath, begin to reach out long in opposite directions, reaching your arms overhead and legs extend out long on the mat, maybe stretching a bit from one side to the other, like a cat does when it wakes up. And with an exhale, hug both knees into your chest, maybe rocking the hips side to side as you set up for some knee circles, inhaling the knees away and exhaling as the knees come back in. Just warming up here, keeping the hands on the knees, and using this movement only from the elbows. And once you feel like you've got a hang of it, begin to circle the knees around, inhaling both knees out to the right, extending far away from you, and exhaling as the knees come back in from the opposite side. Keep your feet relaxed, shoulders relaxed, and maybe do 2 to 3 on each side. Inhaling out and away, and exhaling to close in on the abdominal wall like you're pushing the air out of your body. With an inhaling breath, we'll stretch our legs up high to the sky, exhaling, hugging the knees back closer to your heart. You can point the toes or flex the feet. And just move with the breath here, stretching out through the back of the legs as you reach your feet up towards the ceiling or the sky, depending on where you are. Inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower. The next time the knees are back into the chest, we'll hold here, just placing the hands to the sides and letting our feet come down to the floor. Preparing for a second chakra energizing exercise, we'll reach our arms out wide, feet come wide to about the width of the mat. And it's sort of an alternating knee drop, but we're taking turns with which knee will lead. So as you inhale, we'll take one knee up, and as you feel the pull in the pelvis, then the other knee follows. Inhaling to lift, allowing your legs to open, and then exhaling, soft, slow, and controlled, lowering down. This is energizing again that sacral chakra, second zone of our body. And as you continue to do these knee rolls, you can choose to either keep your gaze fixed ahead of you, or you can alternate, dropping one ear from the side and then to the other in the opposite direction of the knees. The next time the knees are back to center, we'll set our feet up in a bridge position, hands by our sides, evenly distributing our weight through our feet, heel and ball of foot. With the inhaling breath, hips will rise and we'll hold for 10 seconds or so, breathing normally. And with the exhale, we'll drop the hips down, completely letting the body relax, letting go of tension, again here for about 10 seconds or so. And after those 10 seconds, the hips will find their way back up with an inhaling breath. When the hips are lifted into your bridge, we want to focus on engaging strong through the back of the legs and the hips, even engaging through your shoulders here. And when the hips are down, we want to completely let go. Notice if you can feel that heat that you created on the lift cooling with your hips relaxing down to the floor. Just one more time here, we'll lift the hips up, holding for again about 10 seconds or so. Focusing on the strength of the lower body, but relaxing through your face. And when the hips come back down, completely relaxing down. Once again, the arms will open out wide into a T. Letting your knees drop over from one side. And just lingering here, looking in the opposite direction of the knees, only if it feels safe in your body. That bottom foot can lift over the top knee. And as you relax in this passive stretch, notice if you can encourage a little bit more energy from that bottom knee down towards the middle of the mat. And as you take your deep breaths in, let your rib cage expand. Transitioning over to the other side, same thing, only placing the bottom foot over the top knee if it feels safe. Relaxing both shoulders down to the floor and taking your deep breaths in. Expanding through the torso, expanding through the rib cage and the heart space. From here, we'll bring both knees into the chest and just rock over to one side, setting up for our heart opener, Feldenkrais heart opener series. You can use your mat, just the top of the mat, and roll it up, or a blanket, or a pillow, or a towel, whatever feels good to you. In phase one, we have the top hand to the forehead, and just moving from the shoulder, we draw back. And on the exhale, that shoulder comes forward again. Move here with your own breath at your own time and in your own practice. Conscious of that shoulder, moving on its own. The rib cage, the elbow, the neck, and your gaze follow. Moving into phase two, we'll place the top hand to the bottom hand and gently slide that hand up across the bottom arm, across the chest, and to your top shoulder with your focus fixed on the fingertips the whole time. This time we're allowing our breath to be normal. Only when the top hand reaches the top shoulder, we'll take an extra deep breath in, and the exhale encourages the hand back down across the heart space into the bottom arm. This is our heart energizing exercise. When our hand reaches down to the bottom arm, we'll line the heels up with the hips, setting up for clamshells. With an inhaling breath, the top knee will lift, and we exhale to close. Just moving with your own breath here for a few repetitions. We want to be mindful that that top hip stays stacked on top of the bottom, as if both hips were pressed up against the wall and you weren't able to move further back. It's a tiny movement working into a deep essential muscle. And as you continue to work through this exercise, notice if you can keep your shoulders away from the ears. Relaxing your upper body and focusing on the strength of the lower body. As we transition to the other side, we want to stay as close to the floor as possible. Readjusting your mat, your pillow, your blanket or towel, whatever you're using underneath the head so you're nice and comfortable. And we'll repeat phase 1 on the other side. Top hand to the forehead, inhaling as the top shoulder comes back, and exhaling as the top shoulder comes forward. Again, this movement only comes from the top shoulder. Everything else follows, and we do our best to keep the hips steady as we rotate through the waistline. Moving on to phase 2. Top hand extends out across the bottom arm. And still only moving from the top shoulder, we draw back, nice and slow. Focus fixed to the top fingertips, and we take an extra deep breath with the hand to the shoulder. Exhaling, encouraging the hand down across the bottom arm. As you continue with this exercise, notice if you can bring some loving energy into your own heart space, into your own practice, into your own world. Fingertips softly brushing across your upper body with love and kindness. When the top hand stretches out across the bottom arm, we'll repeat clamshells on the other side. Heels lining up with the tailbone, and again, that top hip stays stacked right on top of the bottom, only lifting the knee as high as maintaining that alignment, and exhaling to lower down. You might find that creating some resistance in that core will help to create more resistance in the top hip in these small movements. So consider lifting up through the pelvic floor and drawing your navel to the spine, keeping the shoulders relaxed, and lifting up on the inhale, lowering down on the exhale. From here, we'll roll over and gently set ourselves up to come up safe for the low back. So knees are bent, top hand to the floor, and roll your shoulder towards the floor, carefully lifting the upper body first and then letting the lower body come up as well. Readjusting your mat and props as needed. We're making some space for our child's pose. Hips are all the way down to the heels, arms stretched out in front. With the knees as narrow or as wide as feels safe to you, you can adjust as needed. Just relaxing your forehead to the mat here. From our child's, we'll pop up into a tabletop just to transition, opening the heels wide for our hero's pose. So creating space between the heels, we'll sink the hips down if it feels safe in the knees, readjusting and leaning back for a chest expansion. Hands are used as a kickstand, and we lift our heart up towards the sky. From here, we'll return back to our tabletop position. Maybe we'll take a cat-cow. No, I don't think so. We're going to take a elbow mobilization exercise. So do what you need to in the spine. But once you come back to neutral, we'll exhale and bring both elbows down towards our knees. All the way down. Circle the elbows out in opposite directions and then come straight up. Exhaling down, rotating out, and straight up to the top. More of a half circle here on each elbow. Transitioning in the opposite direction, elbows come down out to the sides and then scoop underneath before lifting straight forward. Now we'll move into our cat-cow. Exhaling to round the spine into our cat like a Halloween cat, and inhaling, sweeping the shoulders back as you open up through the heart in your cow pose. Just moving back and forth with your own breath. Again, in your own practice, at your own pace. The next time you inhale, we'll come back into a neutral spine, setting up for a cat-cow with a knee drive. So as you exhale, the knee comes in towards the forehead. Inhale, extending your leg out long behind you. If it feels more comfortable, you can tap your toe down to the floor rather than keeping the heel lifted. Exhaling to bring the knee into the chest. Strong with the breath here as we drive the knee in, we activate our solar plexus. Transition to the other side, starting with the foot behind you, toes to the floor lifted, and exhaling again to bring the knee in. And as that knee comes in towards the forehead, push the floor away to separate more through your shoulder blades, creating more engagement through the front of the body and more energy, more blood flow into that solar plexus space. The next time the leg reaches out, we'll gently bring the knee down to the floor, separating the knees here, maybe adjusting the wrists, giving a little bit of pressure in the opposite direction to ease and balance the blood flow. And we'll set up for a needle reach. So modified needle, thread the needle pose. We inhale, arm up, and exhale just to sweep the hand across the mat. Inhaling as you reach, try to stack both wrists above each other. Wrist, shoulder, shoulder, wrist. Exhaling to lower. And we'll take it to the other side, inhaling to reach. As you push into your bottom arm, notice how you can engage more through the waistline on that side to get a higher reach up towards the sky. Once both hands are down, sink back into your child's pose. Feel free to repeat these movements as many times as you'd like today or throughout the week. And if you haven't filled out the stress test yet, it'll help you to determine which exercise is right for you. Until next week, this is Olivia Marie's Mindful Movement Monday by Aviles Holistic.